Welcome back to Sow, Grow and Cook. I'm in my greenhouse right now and I'm getting ready to pick up a few trays of little plants to plant inside the polytunnel, namely shelling peas and some broad beans, or as you'd call them in America, fava beans. It's still a little bit too cold here in this part of Wales to be planting stuff outdoors without a cloche. Here they are. These peas here are called Meteor, and I think they're quite an early variety which doesn't grow very tall, so they won't need too much support, although I probably will give them some support anyway. And I've got some crimson flowered broad beans from some seeds that I saved a couple of years ago. They're still doing well. Germination rate was really good on these. Actually, these Meteor shelling peas seeds were saved as well, and they were from 2018. So 18, 19, 21, 22. So they're about 4 years old now. And the germination rate was really good. I put 2 or 3 seeds in each little module, and most of them came up. So old seeds do not necessarily mean germination rate's going to be poor. These were saved from 2019. The first year we were here, I grew these, saved the seeds. Fantastic. Again, germination rate really good. And they'll romp on in the polytunnel. The warmth and protection means I'll probably get a crop around hopefully June time. Let's take a look at some of the other seedlings in here. Here's some of the aubergine or eggplants and pepper plants that I had sown back in January. They're coming along. I'm babysitting them in the sense that I take them out into the greenhouse on nice days, but I do bring them back in towards the end of the afternoon because the sun dips and it gets a bit cold in here, and the poor little things will get a chill. And we've got some more aubergines or eggplants. These were the long purple. And here are my sweet peppers and my Durga eggplant, doing really well. Although I have discovered a little bit of nibbling on the leaves, which looked a bit like snail or slug damage. And it was, what had happened is a snail or slug had worked its way into the seed module tray underneath and was obviously crawling up in the night and nibbling on the leaves. So I found it and I fed it to the ducks, to be honest. I'm not having them devour my plants if I can help it. And if you throw them out into the grass, they'll find their way back. So no chance of that now. Okay, let's have a look at what else I've got in here. I've got some little tiny salad or lettuce plants. These are the ones I planted, I can't remember if it was January or February time. Bronze Arrow and Little Gem. When those get a bit bigger, they'll start going into the polytunnel. And if the weather's warm enough, I could put them outdoors, maybe under a little cloche. Now up here, I've got parsley seedlings, teeny tiny parsley seedlings, and even teenier, tinier celery seedlings. They are so tiny, you can barely see them, but they are there. And I started those off quite early because they take forever to germinate and to grow. But there you have it. They're coming along nicely. Some exciting news for our lady sheep. They have got a new husband. Come and meet him. Here's Mr. Horatio, our Yu's new husband. He's being kept in a lovely big enclosure right next to the girls, but he won't be needed for conjugal duties until this autumn and winter. So he can get to know them through the fence. They're all a bit interested in him. He's huge too, he's a big boy, and he's very gentle. Do you like him? Alright, I'm going to make a frugal lunch using some ingredients from the garden, what's still available. Let's have a look. There's some nice parsley here. I love fresh parsley, full of vitamins, or vitamins, however you want to pronounce it, depending on which side of the pond you come from. There we go. Some kale, which is beginning to sprout, but is absolutely delicious at this stage. In fact, I think they're nicer at this stage because the tops are quite sweet and tender. And if you let a few of them blossom, the bees will find the nectar source very useful. Alright, so I've got a few of those. What else do I want? Oh, I've got a little bit of Swiss chard here. A few feeble little leaves. Look at this. Some of this is rocket that's gone to seed, and I'm leaving it here for the bees currently, because on warm days they are coming out. What else have we got? Oh, the Egyptian walking onions are starting to come up again. But I think I'm going to pick a leek or two. Actually, I'll use one. Let's see what other herbs and things we've got. Got a little bit of mint growing. It's getting windy out there. Right, let's add some spinach to this mix. I've done really well with this spinach. Still carrying on and not having gone to seed yet. Right. Pop that in my bowl next to my glasses. Is there anything else I want? I'm thinking. Garlic? No, not really. I've got a leek. Let's have a look. Should have a little bit of purple sprouting. Broccoli. Just a little bit. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Right, let's go in and make some lunch. So here's the ingredients from the garden. I've got spinach and I've got leeks, I've got some brassica tops, a little bit of mint in there. Oh, little bits and pieces. I'm going to give them a good wash and we'll move on to the next step. Just a quick tip, when washing out leeks from the garden, slice them down the middle and run them under the tap. That way any of the soil that's lurking in between the layers can get washed off. I also trim off the ends, but not all of the green, because I quite like the green and I think we have a tendency to waste some of that, which is every bit as edible as the rest. But obviously I get rid of some of this because it's not very nice. At the very least, if you don't want to use the green now, you could save them and freeze them and use them for soup stocks at another time. Okay, so I've washed all the veg and I'm getting ready to chop them, but before I do that, I'm just going to run them through the salad spinner because I'm going to saute them in a minute. And I don't really want them wet because it'll sort of spit with all the oil or butter that I use. I'm not going to use a lot, but just the same, you want to get them dry. Now, you don't need a salad spinner. You could just roll them up in a dry, clean tea towel and pat them dry that way. But this I bought secondhand from a thrift store or charity shop, whatever you want to call it, and I find it really very useful. So, put the lid on. Okay, let's see how much extra water. There we go. Right, ready to chop now. Well, in case anybody hasn't guessed what I'm making, I haven't really given you that many clues. I'm going to make a fresh green omelette. So I've got a couple of eggs that I'm going to be cracking into a bowl shortly. So simple ingredients, just a bit of veg, a little bit of oil, and a couple of eggs. So next step is sauteing the veg in about a tablespoon of oil. Okay, it's been cooking for about 2 minutes and I think it's cooked down to the point that I'm happy with. I like my vegetables a little bit al dente, quite fresh and green still, more nutritional value, and they'll be very fresh and sweet. So I'm going to transfer these now into a bowl. I'm going to crack 2 eggs into a dish. one. There's two. And this time of year, we're getting quite a lot of eggs. So eggs are on the menu a lot in spring in my house. Right, I'm going to add a little bit of butter to the pan now. I know it's still got a little coating of oil in it, but I just want to add butter for the flavor. So really just a small amount, a little piece. Pan's nice and hot. I'm going to add some pepper to that. And a little pinch of salt. I'm going to take my vegetable mixture now and I'm going to put it on one side of the omelette. So let's see if I can turn this without breaking it. There we go. That'll do for me. Now you can eat it as it is, or you can be a little greedy like me and grate a little bit of Parmigiano cheese on it, but just a little bit. Oh, I am ready to eat. So let's see how it's come out. Delicious. Very fresh. Nice earthy flavors and light. A nice complex mixture of mint and parsley and some of the brassicas. A little bit of cheese. And I'm going to have a bit of bread and butter. So I hope you'll give it a try too. You don't have to have a million things growing in your garden, but see what you've got in your fridge that you could just saute up and put inside an omelette. 2 eggs, a little bit of oil, a few veg and herbs, a bit of bread and butter. Very nice. Thank you very much for watching Sow Grow and Cook, and see you next time. Hey you.